Okay, we are live and good morning. And we are here for the pre match live show of the first ODI between India and Sri Lanka. And this is the first ODI of the Tri Nation Women's ODI series that is starting from today only. And three teams are there, as we all know, that India, Sri Lanka, and South Africa. And the tournament is happening Sri Lanka. And considering that the ODI World Cup is in the horizon, in 2 months coming, so it's a very important tournament for all the teams, especially from our perspective, especially for India women. So Trishadi, first match, India taking on Sri Lanka in Sri Lanka. How do you see this series setting up for the Indian women? Because it's a huge series considering the World Cup, as I mentioned. So how do you see that?
Absolutely, I think this is the format for
Mm.
Indian women's team, and that's why I keep saying ODI World Cup is the World Cup that probably is the most attainable or most
Mm.
achievable. By that, I'm not saying that we cannot win a T20 World Cup ever, but ODI is the format where we have our strengths, I think, and we are equal to big teams, like Australia, England. Obviously, will are still on that cusp of finding their captain, settling in, and all that. But yeah, this is the best format. And the good part about this series, Nyashish, is the fact that it's in the subcontinent. It's not in India, but in the subcontinent. So absolutely similar situations to what you will get during the World Cup. So, which is where I think this series is important for everyone, to
Mm.
assess their strengths, their weaknesses, and their spin bowling options. That is where I think, or I feel, India has not been able to settle in to that
Mm.
spin bowling combination with Deepthi in the recent year, recent few months, a few series, has not done very well with the ball. Wicket columns may say something quite different, but I'm saying just the way the ball is
Mm.
coming out of her hand, the way she's bowling, the lines and lengths, I've thought she has been experimenting more than needed. So overall, a fantastic opportunity, and you obviously have a better head-to-head record against Sri Lanka.
Yeah,
So
that's a very,
I
very,
would
very,
say,
very good record.
yeah, exactly. So I will say overwhelming. India coming into this series as overwhelming favorites,
Mm.
and India would like to keep that going because you don't want any hiccups before a World Cup and in a World Cup year.
Exactly, exactly. And yesterday, the pre-tournament press conference happened where all three captains were there: Harmanpreet Kaur, Chamari Atapat, and Laura Ulvert. So Harmanpreet Kaur said the same that last time we were playing in Sri Lanka and it was a different format, T20 format. But we know the situations, we know the conditions and the the weather and all are not that much of different when it comes to India. So we will try our best, and obviously spinners will come into play, and let's see how we can take all the advantage from this tournament. But as you mentioned, Trishadi, the spinners will be key. Obviously, you all know in subcontinent conditions, spinners will be a key players for any team. So if you see all three teams, obviously India and Sri Lanka definitely have more quality spinners than South Africa. There is no deniable, with all due respect to South Africa. But for India, Dipti Sharma has been the lone spinner for a long time. But to support her, now I think in this series you have a Snehrana back in the squad, and she has been doing pretty well in the last few years in the domestic area, and hopefully she gets a chance in this series. And in Sri Charani is there, and she has been fabulous in domestic, in IPL. She has been superb. So, do you see, a chance for a youngster like Sri Charani? I think this is the series where you can see her, by giving some opportunities.
The problem with Indian team has been, I don't think they see what I see, or I see what they see. uh, to be honest, we needed a good left arm spinner, and
Mm.
that's where I think Sri Charani comes in, which is fantastic. I don't know that if maybe Sri Charani could have been brought in a series or something later, because I do
Mm.
still feel she's a little probably again raw.
Raw.
Uh,
Mm.
but now that she has been selected, see, one part
Mm.
of it is you can talk about the selection, The
Yes.
other part is, now that she has been selected, you obviously have to make her play in a few games so that you understand whether she's up for it or not, whether she's there for in this standard of the game. But
Mm.
again, because it's Sri Lanka, there will be assistance for the spinners. So you cannot directly go by the numbers. I think this series and the England series both will be very, very significant. Also, a part time spinner that you're forgetting is Pratika. Pratika,
Yes, yes.
rolls her
Uh,
arm over, and during the Ireland series had actually bowled a few overs. I would want her to bowl a few overs. That gives
yes, yes.
Harmanpreet that option. If one of the spinners is not working or one of the pacers is getting hit, you can get in two, three, 4 overs from
Exactly.
the part-time bowler. Something what Sehwag used to do. Just
Yes.
or even Sachin used to do. That
Mm-hmm.
is something that has been lacking from the modern day, whether it be the men's team or the women's team.
Yes.
And I think Pratika has brought in that side of the game as well. So it will be very, very interesting to see these four spinners. I will actually say four spinners.
Absolutely. And there is another Mili Upadhyay. I think no, many people don't know much about her. Obviously, she has played only in domestic arena, not in WPL also that much. So there is a surprise element also. I don't know, because this management is known for giving debuts like this. So so you never know that you might see Mili Upadhyay also in action. But let's just say we will be eager to see how she does if she gets an opportunity. Okay, maybe Naman has joined. Let him in. Yes, Naman is there. Good morning, Naman.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Naman, as we were speaking, that this series is a huge opportunity for all the teams, all three teams, considering the World Cup in few months' time. How do you see this series in your eyes, like in context of Indian women getting prepared for the World Cup?
It is one of the most important series for, I mean, all of these three nations, and because the tournament is going to be held in both India and Sri Lanka, and even though India might most will be playing most of their games in India, I think the conditions will be suitable. They will get to accommodate to those subcontinent conditions. Plus, they're coming from WPL, a shorter format, getting into that groove of playing a 50 over game. That is also something that they have to get into the psychology. And then you are also giving a lot of opportunities here in this tri series to the youngsters like Kashvi Gautam and all. So that is going to be very important to settle the lineup, to help the captain understand what all resources she has in her bank. And I think this is going to be very helpful for all of these three nations, but in particular to India. I think they will be trying a lot of combinations here. I don't expect them to go and win this tournament. I just want them here to try out however much they can so that the best possible lineup can come out during the World Cup. And I mean, I think you guys said that during the before the T20 World Cup they played Asia Cup and it didn't pan out
Hmm.
well for them after the Asia Cup. So I mean, I would like for them to not focus here just on the results, but rather on the process, that the team gets the best suitable lineup, that the players are in the best form, best conditions, and when they get into that World Cup zone, they know how to tackle these teams, especially on these kind of conditions.
Absolutely. I think ahead of the World Cup as a team, you'd love to get a settled playing 11 or, settled 15, that that these are the players that we are going to rely on in the World Cup. But Trishadi, as India played that Asia Cup, but that was in a T20 format. But unfortunately, they lost in the final against Sri Lanka only. I think Harshita Samavikrama batted brilliantly well in that final. And obviously, their spinners were on a roll throughout the tournament. But this is a defined format, 50 over format, defined ball game. You have to plan differently. You have defined
And
phases
the
where you can
different Sri
accelerate.
Lanka.
And the
And the
defined
Sri
Sri
Lanka
Lanka.
was on fire.
Yes, yes. And that is why when we discuss the, before the World Cup, that which are the teams that can, trouble others, we were so confident about Sri Lanka. But somehow in that World Cup, Sri Lanka surprised us.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Sri Lanka
Yes.
decided to just go completely opposite of what we had discussed. We are like, This time Sri Lanka has a very good opportunity. What form? What dazzling form they are in. And suddenly Sri Lanka starts acting like their UAE team. But that has been a concern for Sri Lanka over the years, over dependence on Chamari Atapattu. And it seems that that is still there, even though there are good batters, you know. It's not like so the Sri Lankan team before did not actually have very good resources in between. There was a time in between when they did not have good players. Currently, it's not a lack of good players that's the problem. The execution part is a huge issue because it almost seems like until and unless Chamari Atapattu gives a start, the Sri
Hmm.
Lankan team does not get a direction. And one thing I have to really, say that I don't agree with Naman about India not winning the series. If India does not win this series, then I would actually be very, very worried. I
Yes,
mean,
absolutely.
I don't consider South Africa in spin tracks the same South Africa that I would consider in say in Australia, England, where the ball is coming onto the bat. I don't think they're like super players of spin or anything of that sort. And Sri Lanka, of course, we have a record of 30 out of 32 against Sri Lanka. I mean, if we don't defeat them, um, then I'll start raising questions, and then of course the fans of the players will start saying, "Oh, the team has won WPL, and why are you questioning our captain and all that?" But yeah, if India does not make a statement series of this, then I'll be very, very surprised. Like I'm
Yes,
almost
absolutely.
expecting if India bats first and Sri Lanka bats second, or anyway, I'm expecting probably the match to get over early as well.
Yes, absolutely. Considering the squads and the experience that India have, you have to expect that kind of a performance. So that there is nothing to hide about that thing. But Naman, as Tushari
Also,
mentioned.
Snehashish, before you go to Naman, sorry, because you were
Hmm,
talking about Mili Upadhyay, or rather Shuchi Upadhyay.
hmm,
Um, um, she is a little like Rohan with two names, but but to be honest, I would like to just say a little bit about her.
yeah.
She's bowled very well this season.
Hmm,
And what I like about her is her action is very nice. First of all, she's a left arm spinner.
hmm.
She has very nice action. She gives the ball air, which means she gives the ball that chance to turn. So I think overall, I would be interested to see both Charani and Shuchi playing,
Hmm.
because both of them give that revs to the ball. The typical spinner that you want to see. I think both of them will be doing a very, very good job.
What Radha Yadav was missing? What Radha Yadav was missing?
Because Radha Yadav bowled very fast,
Fast.
for a
Hmm.
spinner. Yeah.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
the other thing, there is something common between Shuchi and Radha Yadav: the celebration, the aggression in the celebration. The moment she gets a wicket, she go or something of that sort. And the best part was, I think, her spell against Mumbai. She got 5 wickets and she
Hmm.
completely outfoxed the batters. One thing is when batters are trying to hit you, the catch outs and all that. She actually got bowled. She got a lot of batters foxed with that slight, that turn of the ball. So I think it will be. She's a very, very interesting prospect that way.
Absolutely. But Tushati, do you think that the selection of these players show that India management have started to look forward of Radha Yadav?
Oh, very interesting question.
Because
See,
with
it
the ball,
works
she
both
has been
ways.
pretty inconsistent. With the ball, she has been pretty inconsistent.
It works both ways. I think
Mm,
Arundhati Reddy has shown that, and
mm.
no qualms in accepting that. The way Arundhati bowled, she forced the selectors to get her back in the team.
Yes,
Before she bowled very well in the Indian team and was again thrown out. But that's not the point. The point is you have to fight it out in domestic. Whether
yes,
Radha still can rediscover herself and get herself back, because see, she has a slight advantage when it comes to Charani and Shruti. I think she's a better batter than them, And there is
Fielder.
no doubt that she's a much, much, much better fielder. You
Yes.
know, one of the best fielders in the Indian team,
India.
hands down.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
but again, for that matter, you can always say that Tanya Bhatia is the best wicketkeeper that India has produced. But you cannot fit in Tanya Bhatia because of her batting skills. Because
Mm.
you know, that the need of the situation is that someone like a Richa Ghosh, who probably is not your best wicketkeeper available, is your best batter available when it comes to wicket-keeping batting. And not only wicket-keeping batting, Richa Ghosh walks into any team as a batter alone. In the
Mm.
same way, I think what Radha really needs to do is probably slow her pace down, and she should remodel her bowling a little on someone like a Krunal Pandya, who mixes the pace very well. You know, Krunal
Mm.
Pandya has been superb this IPL. One of the reasons being that he knows that I'm not going to turn the ball square. I'm
Yes.
not a Rashid Khan.
Wicket to
I'm not
wicket.
a Suyat Sharma. So I will bowl wicket to wicket, and I will vary my pace. I will give the bounce. I will at times bowl the Yorker length.
Let the batter hit you.
Let the batter come and hit me.
Mm.
I
Yes,
think.
absolutely.
But to be honest, Snehashish, I don't see her much in the ODI setup. T20 setup, if she
Mm.
models herself on someone like Krunal Pandya, again, I don't consider Krunal Pandya as the best bowler or anything of that sort, but has a lot of similarity there. I think that Radha Yadav can probably work and get that style of bowling. In T20s could be effective. So in T20s, I think the door is still open. One days it seems
Mm.
tough.
Yes, yes, and I think she had a very disappointed, inconsistent WPL also. I think that is also went against her. But Naman, as taking a cue from what Trishadi said, that you have a Richa Ghosh who can play as a batter only in your team. So you have a Yastika Bhatia now. So do you see in the playing 11 today the Yastika playing as a wicketkeeper batter and Richa Ghosh only playing as a wicket batter, or you can see one of them playing as a wicketkeeper batter? What do you think?
I mean, I think both of them will be playing, but
Mm.
given Yastika hasn't had the best of forms, I believe that they will be focusing on Richa with giving chances to Yastika. But yeah, like you said, it could be either one of those. But I believe that they're going to stick with Richa because that is how they want to keep things. I feel like that because Richa has been their number one over the over the year, and I feel that that is what they might be focusing on, so that the momentum that she gains here in the Tri Series, she's able to go into the World Cup as well with that momentum. Yasika, I mean, yeah, I mean, definitely she can be one of the backups. I feel for Richa.
Number three. Trishadi is saying number three. So
Uh,
Trishadi, if Yastika plays at number three, then what about Harlin Deol?
If no, I think Yastika will play at number three.
Okay. So there is no Harlin Deol then in the playing 11.
Yeah, I think so.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Unfair?
Be-
Yes. If you ask me
yes.
unfair, yes. Yes. But
Yes.
see, there are a few things you have to understand, especially in subcontinent tracks. You
Mm,
want to cover both the spinners,
yes.
uh, and you want to counter, not cover, you want to counter
Mm,
oppositions,
mm,
both the spinners. That
yes.
is where I think Yastika becomes important. Nothing against Arlene Deol. It's not like
Mm,
she's a
mm,
bad player of spinner or anything of that sort. I'm just talking about the right left combination, because you have to keep that going so that the off spinners and the leg spinners both are covered that way. Because leg spinners will find it tough against left-handed batters, and off spinners will find it tough against right-handed batters. So that way, I think you want to go keep that going. At number four, you obviously have to have Harmanpreet coming in. So if that's the case, at number five, you have to have Jemima.
JB.
Number
Yes,
six,
absolutely.
again, Richa Ghosh.
Richa. And
Number
and
seven,
and and yes, and that is my next question. At number seven, do you see a Kashmi Gautam making her debut?
why at number seven? Kashvi Gautam has enough place to make her
Okay,
debut.
Amanjot Kaur also. Amanjot
Yeah,
Kaur also
Amanjot, of
making comeback.
course.
Yes,
At number
Amanjot
seven
Kaur.
will be
Yes,
Amanjot Kaur.
yes,
And for
yes.
then at number eight would be Sneherana.
Sneha,
Okay,
yes.
where is Deepthi? Sorry, at number eight, seven, eight, somewhere will be Deepthi. And I think the remaining two would be
Dipti, Sneha,
no, I know
Kashbi,
the
Arundhati.
hmm, Amanjot plays, you might not play
Hmm.
both Kashvi and
Arundhati.
Arundhati.
Okay, okay. One of them.
I
Okay,
think you will
yes.
go with Kashvi. Um,
Hmm.
and you would want to, again, I'm repeating, this is completely for subcontinent conditions. You will see different in England. You will
Yes.
see both Arundhati and Kashvi playing when it comes, and Amanjot
Hmm.
playing as well when it comes to
Yes, yes.
England. But here you would want to play one spinner. I actually won't be surprised if maybe it's not Snehrana and one of Shuchi and Sri Charani,
Hmm.
because you will be
Ah,
playing
yeah.
deep. I
Yes,
would
yes.
I
I
would
really
love to
want
see
to see.
Snehrana. I want to see Snehrana.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly,
but
exactly. We all want to see Sneha in action because
yeah,
she
but
has
it's
made
like
a
for
comeback.
like. But it's
Yes,
like for like,
yes,
right? That is also
yes.
there, and it's a tough choice. But I do think that you don't have a ground to drop Deepthi from the playing 11, right? So you will keep her. Um, wouldn't you want a left arm spinner? I would have
Variety.
actually
You
liked to
need a
see her
variety. You
play.
need variety.
Yeah,
You
because
need variety.
again, Pratika can also roll her arm over and bowl off spinners, and then of course
Fine.
Smriti is there who can come in and take magic wickets. But no, on a more serious note, I do think that one of the left arm spinners should play, because you know what Snehrana has got to offer. You probably do not know what Sri Charani and Shuchi Upadhyay has got to offer. I would see, and this is something that has been working on my mind. Probably in the South African games, you would see
Hmm.
the two experienced bowlers, Deepthi and Snehrana. But against
Yes.
Sri Lanka, you will want to see what Sri Charani
New
and Shuchi
faces.
have got to offer.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I think the most positive thing so far in this discussion has been that India this time has a good bench strength and they all are fit and fine. So I think that is the
Sorry,
most positive
can
thing.
I say something? We
Yes,
might
yes.
also see three spinners and Amanjot not playing.
Yes. Okay, that can happen. Yes. Okay, so let's see when the team will come out. We'll definitely discuss about that. But Naman, obviously, I will come one by one on top players that we are looking forward in Team India. But absolutely, I will start with Jemima Rodriguez. I think she also had a very disappointing WPL, considering her standards, and obviously her batting position have been always in a particular match when she will bat. That remains a big question. Either at number three, number four, number five, whether she plays for India, whether she plays for in WPL or any other franchises. So in this Indian setup, now it is firmly confirmed that most of the occasions she will bat at number five, be it any format of the game. So, how do you see her, and how much important this series for her? Considering that World Cup.
Definitely, it is a see. It is important for every one of those players. Harmanpreet Kaur is also coming from injury. She played WPL, but for India,
Hmm.
it is coming back from injury. And
Hmm.
irrespective of that, all of these players will be focusing on their roles. And if Jemima has been assigned that number five role, she will be. But I feel that. Uh, if she comes a little earlier, she has the abilities to play that anchor role while the others kind of work around her, build the innings. While they take the aggressor role, she can build the innings for you, especially in a format like 50 over. And that is why I was feeling that she might come around the number three before Harmanpreet comes. And but Trishadeep believes that Yastika is supposed to come at number three, so that is different. Irrespective, it is a big tournament for
So who
Jemima.
do you think will come in at three? Jemima.
I
No,
feel that
I
she
would
should.
love to. I would
That
love
should
to
be.
see Jemima
That
there.
should be.
Yeah, that is what
But
I
Yeah,
it will not
feel.
happen.
that should be, but it will either be Harleen or Yastika. I don't think
Hali,
Jemima is even under consideration at number three. I'm so
number
sorry.
me,
three,
me and Trishadi have been talking about it since that Asia Cup. That
Asia Cup.
she is
Yeah.
your best number three batter in any format of the game.
And
Just
you
don't
know
think
what?
about any option.
I think when people say that Jemmy has underperformed, you have not given her the platform she deserves. Just
Yes.
selecting her in the playing 11 is not what the
Not
platform is about. You have to play her at a number that she plays, at
the
5,
best
6, 7,
position.
8, 9, 10. You cannot
Mm.
get
It's
a player
it's
like
like
Jemmy.
KKR sending Raghuvanshi at number 9 and saying he is underperforming.
Yeah, exactly.
It's same like
Exactly.
this. Yes. Okay. Okay. Moving on. We will come to the comments. A lot of comments have come. We'll go one by one. But before that, one more discussion to share the Shruti Mandana. You know, I think as a batter he had a decent WPL, but as a captain we all know how poor it was. The season was for her, and now this series against Spain we all know the problem she has. Getting out in the same repetitive manner. How do you see that? Hopefully she will not repeat. How do you see herself going into this series?
It's one day, Sneha. It's not T20. She's
Yeah.
fine.
Yes.
She's absolutely fine. I think this
Hmm.
format is something that suits Smriti because she does not need to score, quickly. So she'll take her time.
Okay.
She'll settle in,
Hmm.
even against the spinners. If you actually see how has she got out against the spinner, it's not like she was leaving the ball and she was
No.
bored. She was trying to
Sweet.
force
Clocks it.
force the
Clocks it.
scoring.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Here, she does not need to hit the slog sweep. She can take her own time. And when you're an opener, you have 300 balls to play. So I won't be surprised if she adds a few more hundreds to her kitty. Because if she
Yes.
doesn't, then I will be worried for India. I'm telling
Yes.
you, then I'll be like, ये सही direction में नहीं जा रहा है भाई. Because mind you, the England series, you cannot consider it as a practice for the World Cup
Hmm.
because the conditions are so different from from subcontinent conditions that whether you do well or you don't do well, it almost does not matter. Yes, matters for the players confidence that okay, I am in form
Confidence.
or I'm not in
Hmm.
form, but it actually on if you actually consider, it does not matter.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, let's take some comments. Sanjit Sarkar, A6U, commenting bit off topic, but your analysis of Pakistan and Bangladesh women in World Cup qualifier under Fatima Sana and Nigar Jyoti. Trishadi?
I think superb. The
Hmm.
way Fatima especially led the Pakistan team, I thought that was fantastic. And you could see a leader in her. That is fantastic. And
Hmm.
I've always admired Nigar Jyoti because I thought from the time that she has taken over the Bangladesh team, the whole attitude around the team. And when I'm talking about attitude, it is standing up to the opponents and to kind of get that belief in the team that you know what, we can win this. See, one thing is about participating. Oh, you know what, we are Pakistan team, we are Bangladesh team, probably we are not at par in different skill set levels with the top 3 4 teams. But the other part is, yes, there is weakness, but also the fact that we can win. It's not like we cannot. We just have to be a little more patient. We have to apply ourselves more. That's where I think both the captains have done well. And for teams like Pakistan and Bangladesh to do well in women's cricket actually means the Asian side is taken care of, which watches cricket the most. I think that is where this World Cup will be very very interesting.
Absolutely, and not
Obviously, all the
letting a team
political
like
angles kept aside.
yes, and not letting a team like West Indies qualify for the World Cup. It's
Oh,
a
it's
statement.
brilliant.
Yes,
It's brilliant. But while it's
mm,
sad, I'm absolutely heartbroken
yes,
for Hayes Matthews. But the fact that you have been able to stop West Indies, who I believe in
mm,
skill set is a little above you, is
yes,
fantastic. So you're punching above your own weight, which is where the upward curve begins. So I feel this is fantastic, and I think this is the first time that 4 Asian teams are there in the World Cup.
maybe,
Maybe.
maybe. Yes. Okay, Priyanshu saying hi guys. Okay, hi guys. Good morning. Okay, Sanjit Sarkar again. Sanjit Sarkar is saying again. Wish Asian teams, including India and Sri Lanka, to do well in Women ODI World Cup 2025. Always as seen Sena countries dominating. Naman.
Wish Asian teams, including Indian, do well in. I mean, yeah, I mean, with the conditions, I think the Asian teams are going to do better this time around. I hope so. there's no hiccup there. But with Pakistan and Bangladesh, like Trishadi said, have been on the upward side in their qualification phase. Bangladesh I mean, not outclassing, but were able to come over the top and I mean, get over that West Indies hurdle, qualify for this tournament. So that is a big thing. It will be a big motivation for them, and with the conditions a bit more familiar to these four teams, I think it will be a good tournament for Asian teams and also the Asian fans, Asian cricket fans. It is going to be a big thing, and that's why we have a lot of expectations from India because I feel this WPL we had a lot of youngsters coming up showing their talent. A lot of players who were injured and they came into form, so that is something that is to look up to. And then yeah, I mean, you have these legendary players that have been playing for a while, and with Harmanpreet Kaur and Smriti Mandana. I mean, Smriti didn't have the best of the WPL, but
Hmm.
Harmanpreet
Hmm.
with the bat at the fag end was spectacular for Mumbai Indians, especially for them to eventually become champions. So that is something positive for these teams. And I mean, yeah, this ODI World Cup, this Tri Series will be a big platform for these Asian teams, India and Sri Lanka, to do well and get that momentum going into the World Cup as well.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, the next comment is from Krishna Tiwari and it is for Trishadi. Trisha ma'am, Pratika Rawal is one of the finest player. That is the comment.
Are you asking me or are you telling me? You're telling me.
I,
I think
I think he's
yes,
kidding
she's
you.
a very good player. I will call her the finest after the England tour.
Yes. I think this is the point that Trishadi has been making from
And I
that
would love
Ireland
it.
match.
I would love it
Yeah.
if Pratika proves me absolutely wrong.
Yes. The talent is there. There is no doubt.
And a certain legend of the game, remarked she has a good back foot strokes.
Okay.
So that should
Okay.
help. That should help
That
in
should help.
England.
Obviously in
But
England
I
that
don't
should
know.
help.
I mean, the
But
way she
swing,
holds her bat, the bat swing is something which worries me. But that does not mean that I will. I'm saying that she won't be successful. I'm just saying that whether she is a completely, that complete player or not, we'll get to know that in England.
absolutely. Overseas conditions. Every
Yeah.
player gets, assessed in overseas conditions. Okay. Naman, this is for you. RN commenting like Radha Yadav. Where is Shefali in the scheme of things?
Nowhere.
Uh, I mean, she had a pretty decent tournament WPL, and I was expecting that she might get into the run of things for India as well. But I don't. I mean, it clearly seems that the Indian management is looking right now in the other direction, and I think that is a bit disappointing when you are Shefali Verma and the way she has performed while playing for Delhi Capitals. So this is something that she might be thinking about, that if the tri series is not I mean, she's not even given the opportunity to play here, then what are her chances to get into the World Cup side? Because a lot of youngsters are getting opportunities here, and India will definitely be trying a lot of selection, I mean setups, and the batting positions of every batter, and this is going to be a big thing. So Shefali Verma, I mean, I was expecting the way she performed, but yeah, at the end of the day, it's the management that thinks. I mean, how? I mean, they're thinking that Jemima has to play at number five, so I'm
Hmm.
not sure what are they thinking about someone like Shefali Verma. So it is a big thing, but yeah, I don't think she will be getting into the scheme of things for the near future now.
Yes, absolutely. And, might
Just
be many
one
fans.
point.
Hmm. Hmm.
I think I've been doing too many shows with Bharat. But yeah, just one, I wanted to add one point. The point that I wanted to add is the difference between Radha and Shafali here would be Radha Yadav, I
Hmm.
don't think has age, as a age on her side, but Shafali
Hmm.
has. So Shafali still has a number of years to actually make a comeback because Shafali. So just give me 1 second. Shafali is just 21. Half the
Yes.
people do not make their debut when they're
And
21.
she is one of the experienced players now in the squad.
Exactly. And whereas Radha Yadav is 25, which
Yes.
means in another 1 or 2 years, you will then start looking beyond Radha Yadav because, okay, So I'll put it precisely for the viewers to understand what I'm saying. For an
Hmm.
ODI World Cup circle, which is of 4 years, Shafali would ideally still have three World Cups to
Yes.
target.
Yes.
And Radha, if I count till 33, then Radha will have two.
Two. Hmm.
Yeah, two World Cup circles to go ahead. Now the problem is, say for example, Shafali does not get through the next World Cup circle. The next one she can still consider, but if Radha does not get through the next World Cup cycle, she's already 29. The comeback is becoming tougher. So by numbers, she does have two World Cup circles. But if you actually see at 29, if you're not already in the team, you're
Yes.
almost not going to be there.
Absolutely. And also by then you might get many more options. Many more options. Like right now only
Absolutely.
you have a N Sri Charani, you have a Mili Upadhyay, and if they can sustain by 4 years time, they will be one of the top spinner for you in the squad.
Yeah, and the problem is India produces spinners by dozens.
Yes.
It's not
Yes.
pacers we are talking about. Had you been
Mhm.
pacers, you can still see that Shikha Pandey is very much in the scheme of things. Yes, she's
Mhm.
not getting selected, but no selector can say, "Oh, we have looked ahead of Shikha Pandey," because you
Yes.
don't
Yes.
have options. But spinners, every single domestic side has five, six spinners. Every year, you are getting three, four spinners who are
The
pushing
play of
the
the
spinners that
play
are
of the
getting.
match is only as spinners.
Exactly. And that is again another advantage that Shafali does have is that you don't get a Shafali style batter. Pratika is a
Hmm.
very good batter, but Shafali on fire is a different beast altogether. So you
Yes.
cannot really say someone like Shafali is out of the squad at any point of time. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. What in my head, she's still one of the captaincy contenders eventually.
Yes. Absolutely. Okay.
Oh,
Next comment.
by the way, the covers
Hmm.
are on and the toss has been delayed because of that rain
Yeah, I was
situation.
about to tell you
Ooh.
that. Yeah, it's raining in Colombo. It's very
A
That's
lot
a
of
boisterous.
very sad news.
a
That's a
lot of
very
things
sad
were
news.
said about the Colombo Heat, but it's practically right now unfriendly.
I think the weather from Kolkata has shifted to Sri Lanka. I think. Okay, okay. Aren't commenting, Trisha ma'am. Very likely, India women will give a walkover to Pakistan women in Women's World Cup if they meet thoughts. It's regarding the recent Pahalgam terror attack.
Yeah, of course. But Aryan, I don't think it is about my thoughts at all. It is
Mhm.
completely a political decision. It will be something that I think both the countries' PMs or the United Nations or whoever will decide. It has got nothing to do with cricketers as such. I know certain Pakistani cricketer had commented something, but right
Mm.
now the blood is boiling on India side for sure, and there's reason for Pakistan side also. A lot of people are hearing a lot of things that they might not directly be the reason for, right? So there's a lot of bad blood right now. It has always been there. Things were improving, but the Pahalgam attack, of course, has taken it towards wars. But I repeat again, this is a diplomatic, policy standpoint, which is something that is so above my scale or what I can comment on. That I don't know. I mean, how the whole World Cup schedule will work, we'll have to see.
Yes, absolutely. And then I also read some reports that there is a chance maybe Pakistan and India will not be in the same group in ICC tournaments in coming days. But to avoid any kind
Yeah,
of a
heard all that. Yeah,
guaranteed
heard all
match, yeah.
this. Yeah.
If they face each other in the knockout, that is different thing because they have won and they went through that position. But in that group phase, they might look to avoid this kind of clashes as of now. What I read somewhere. Okay, Pooja Gosika. Okay, this is our Pooja. Yes. Okay, playing 11 guys can't find anywhere. Okay, Pooja, don't worry. I think it is yet to come because covers are on and the match is kind of a delayed. So let's wait. No worry. You can take some rest, Pooja. Yes. Okay, okay, Rama Bantu commenting. One second. Yes, Rama want to come. Hi all, very good morning. Good morning. May I know why none of the media channels aren't covering this highly exciting tri series? I think Trishadi, you should answer this.
विमेंस क्रिकेट है ना, तो थोड़ा टफ है आईपीएल के टाइम पे कवर करना दूसरों के लिए, क्योंकि मेंटेलिटी बदलते बदलते बदलेगी, कभी तो बदलेगी, अभी बदली नहीं है। बट अच्छी बात है ना, फिर रामा जी आप सब्सक्राइब कर लो रेड स्पोर्ट्स, बिकॉज वी आर गोइंग टू कवर इट थ्रू एंड थ्रू। यस, वी आर नॉट इन कोलंबो राइट नाउ बिकॉज देयर आर अ फ्यू issues, logistical issues that we have been facing. Otherwise, one of us would definitely have been in Sri Lanka, but it does not matter. You know, actually whether we are in Sri Lanka or not, आपको समझ में भी नहीं आएगा हम ऐसे कवर करेंगे सीरीज। तो आप बिंदास रेव स्पोर्ट सब्सक्राइब कर लो, और नोटिफिकेशन आइकॉन, वो जो बेल
Yes.
आइकॉन होता है वो दबा दो, बिकॉज उससे क्या होता है कि एवरी टाइम यू कम लाइव और एवरी टाइम देयर इज अ न्यू वीडियो, you get that notification. I
Yes.
hope आपने लॉरा वुलवर्ड का इंटरव्यू देखा है, because it was a fab interview. Mr. Mukherjee had done it. Good, well done. But the best part
Yes.
is, Naman, when Laura Woolward came, both Neashish and I, for a good 20 seconds, all three of us were sitting. I think Woolward must have expected we will say something, and we are so starstruck that we are looking at her and we are sitting like this. And then suddenly I was like, oh, we need to speak. This is getting creepy. So I'm like, I'm a huge fan of yours, and of course the cover drives. And she's like, yeah, and then I was like,
Eh,
I'm sure you hear this a lot, and she started laughing.
but she is a very good speaker, very clear
Yeah,
thoughts
I
and all.
mean, which captain can directly say? She was like, there are day and night matches in the World Cup, no? I think I need to start practicing my tosses.
It kind of happened with me when I was in the press conference room for the WPL and Smriti Mandana came, and I was like, okay,
Yes, yes,
what am I
yes.
supposed to do now? And I was tasked. Like, I couldn't get out. I mean, I started fumbling the question, and she just laughed it off. So.
Yeah, I have had
Okay.
quite a few such experiences. I think the first time that I met Mithali Raj, for a second I
It
was
had
like,
to be. It
yeah.
had to
For a
be.
second I was like, and she very politely she said, "Hi, I'm Mithali Raj," and I'm like, why is she telling me her
Yeah.
name? Like who doesn't know her? Why? And nonchalantly she says, "Hi, I'm Mithali Raj." I'm like, of course, yes. And just by the way, it was I was the local manager of the team, so she had actually called that
Yes,
we are going to be at the airport at so and so time, and I had told
exactly.
everyone in my neighborhood, everyone I met that day, that who woke me up today? Mithali Raj had called. Mithali Raj had called.
Fantastic stories. Okay, Sanjit Sarkar is with another comment that will ODI World Cup 2025 be in hybrid with Sri Lanka being added as a venue? Yes. There's
Obviously.
yes, Pakistan might play all of their matches in Sri Lanka only. Still yet to get confirmed because the schedule is yet to get out. But whatever the reports are as of now, that there's a high chance that obviously Pakistan will not play India. It was already discussed before the Champions Trophy only that all the upcoming matches, I think till the 29 ICC tournament, 2029, all the ICC tournament, I think Pakistan or India will not play in each other's country, and that is why a hybrid model will be followed. So there's a high chance that Pakistan will play all of their matches in Sri Lanka. That is why if India and Pakistan are in the same group, India have to travel to Sri Lanka to play them. Okay. Hmm. Okay, Ramabantu seemed to have entered. Okay, Ramabantu commenting. One second. Yes. Seems there is a rain threat for today's match. Yes. As of now, it is
Yeah,
looking like
ideally it
Not
will be
just
a
the rain
washout
threat.
because, huh?
Yeah, I'm saying it's not just the rain threat, it's pouring down right now at the
oh
venue.
Yeah.
my. Yeah. I think that is a very bad start to the series because ultimately it's a preparation for the World Cup. This is a very small series, right? I think 6 matches and there is a final, so only 7 matches. And if you get 1 or 2 games washed out, it's a very unfortunate for the teams that is happening. You know. we can? Okay, that's a good question. Naman, you can take it. Um, we will we again see Asha Shobana in international matches? Why not?
Definitely. I mean, I hope she gets the chance that she deserves. But right now, I think the focus will be the World Cup and the way that the teams are being selected. I think it will be like I'll just say. I mean, in terms of the way Asha has played over the years, I mean, I think it will be like something like Shefali. That at the moment the focus is somewhere
Mm,
else, but you cannot keep star players out for long. You'll have like Tishadi said that even that Pratika is playing superbly well. When Shefali comes into the form, she's like a beast. So Asha also will get her chance, but at this point in time, I feel that the focus remains at the World Cup, and I mean they're preparing for it in the way that they want. They want the players like that suited for their team to make a team that works well and gels well. So I think Asha will have a chance, no doubt about that. She's a very good player, and I mean it will but take a little time now.
yes, absolutely. And the good news is that Asha Shobana has started bowling after that injury, in Bangalore. That is a very good sign. And you must consider one thing, that there is no such other right arm leg spinner in the squad. So again, to add another variety, level to that variety, I think Asha Shobana must get a chance. And do you think, Trishadi, that players like Shriyanka Patil, Asha Shobana, they are getting fit, and hopefully they will be by the start of the World Cup? But do you think there is a chance that board might take a look at them before the World Cup, if they are fit enough?
If you want them in the squad, you have to have a look, because they don't have a domestic season also to
Hmm.
fall back on,
Hmm.
right? Because they have been
Hmm.
injured most of the season. They don't have WPL to look back on. But when it comes to leg spinner, I'm actually very intrigued. Why is Priya Mishra not in the squad? You know,
Hmm.
shouldn't she have been in the squad? I always ask myself that, like for example, when I don't know, when I would select a player, I would want to know the reasons why I'm selecting it. In the same way, selecting him or her, in the same way, wouldn't I want to know why am I dropping a certain player? Like, I get it. Priya Mishra hasn't picked up 15 wickets or 20 wickets, but
Hmm.
has she been bad enough for her to be dropped? If not, then how can
Yes.
you drop someone who's getting variety, and especially in subcontinent conditions?
And wrist
It
spinners.
Absolutely. I think in Australia she had bowled a very good spell.
Yes. Hmm.
After that, she had two bad spells, but that's Australia.
Yes.
Australia has never been about spinners. In India, she would have been different. I just think the span given to the players to prove themselves is very,
Hmm.
very less, because then
Very less.
once you have thrown Priya Mishra back to the domestic circuit, it becomes a comeback. It is no more a debut. So the whole thing becomes the process becomes very complicated then. For example, Ashraf Ali will never make a comeback by scoring 50s or the 70s or the 80s in domestic circuit.
Yes.
um, she has to score the big, I don't know why are they called big daddy hundreds, but anyway, I think that is also something sexist, but big hundreds, we'll put it that way. Once, yeah, it's almost like if Shefali scores 100 and somebody was telling me that Shefali has scored so and so hundreds, I was like, where? And the person was like, domestic. I said, do you think that that's even
Yes.
Shefali's level? Where are you judging?
Yes.
Shafali not scoring anything near 100 is when you will call it a failure. You will not say, oh, Shafali scored a 50, she had a
Absolutely.
good match. No, Shafali had a poor match if she scored a 50. So then what happens when you have thrown a Priya Mishra from the international circuit to back to the domestic circuit? You are not going to be happy with Priya Mishra getting 18 wickets, which is the number of wickets that Shruti Upadhyay has got. And you have made, brought her to the team. Then suddenly, a Priya Mishra has to get 25, 26, 27 wickets. Is that
Yes.
possible? Are you putting
Hmm.
them under pressure and throwing people under the bus without even considering? Simple question. Why was Arundhati not in the team? Now, why is Arundhati in the team? ऐसा क्या कर
Whoever
दिया था
bowled
मतलब?
well in that Australia tour got dropped.
Exactly. That's my point. They were dropped, and then now Arundhati has been brought in. And Arundhati did not have a great WPL or anything of that sort. So it's not
Even
like
Delhi dropped her. Even Delhi dropped her.
exactly, exactly. And the point, that is the point I was trying to make. So what is the basis of? I think the transparency of thought of not only
Mm.
selectors. Please let's not blame the selectors alone, because Amol Majumdar, Harmanpreet Kaur, both are very much part of the selection process. That I can tell you clearly. So, automatically, what is the team management exactly thinking at that point is a little difficult to understand. Especially in women's cricket, this is something that we have to be aware of. That we can complain that, in a World Cup year for a men's team, you would probably get 30 matches, and then in a World Cup year for a women's team, you might get 10 matches, which is unfair. I get it. But in those
Mm.
10 matches, how are you utilizing? There is something called optimum use of what you have. While I condemn the fact that why I want Indian women's team also to have those 30 matches, but when you don't have, how are you using those 10 matches by bringing in? So here's my question: is RN Sri Charani and Shuchi Upadhyay in your line or in your squad for the World Cup? If not, then you're wasting an entire series testing them out
Yes.
just before the World Cup. You could have done that next year. None of them are 30 years old that next year they would become irrelevant or something of that sort. They're young
Yes.
kids. Once the World Cup is out of the way, you have 4 year cycle to try different people. Don't do it few months before the World Cup. Here, Priya Mishra should have played. If Asha Shobana comes back, how will you take her back in the team? What is the basis? Shriyanka Patil, you can. I'll tell you why. Because Shriyanka is a
Mm.
good fielder. Shriyanka can give you runs, and Shriyanka can bowl. And Shriyanka
Yes.
can bowl in the death overs as well as in the middle overs as well as in the power play overs.
Yes.
So
And pretty
there,
good fielder also.
that's what I said. She has three
Mm.
dimensions to it.
Mm.
So you
Yes.
can then bring in Shriyanka and take a gut call that, oh, you know what,
Mm.
she could be a match winner. So let's back her up. Asha Shobna only has one side to it.
Yes. Bowling.
Asha can only bowl. She's not a good fielder. She's not a good batter. How will you get her in the team? And if you don't get her in the team, the World Cup is in Indian subcontinent, and you don't have a leg spinner. You just have off spinners. Can you play
Yes.
Deepti, Shriyanka, Sneha, all of them? No. And you know what
Yes.
will happen. You know Sneha Rana will be dropped. I think even Sneha Rana knows that even if I take
Yes.
10 wickets, it's not a win-win situation. It's a lose-lose situation.
Yes. Yes. Huge points made by Trishadi. Okay, take some next comment.
If if
Oh.
if I may just ask Trishadi,
Hmm.
we don't have Renuka Titas or Pooja Vasrakar this tournament. I believe they all are injured at the moment, and Arunadati is going to lead the pace attack. So, do you think that someone like Shikha Pandey could have come up this tournament? I mean,
Mm.
she is on the wrong side of age, but she did pretty well in the
Mm.
WPL with all those dot balls and everything. Do you think she could have been as a backup bowler, a good option?
Um, Look, Shikha Pandey is not going to play the World Cup. That's for sure, right? But Arundhati still has a little bit of a chance of playing
Mm.
because Pooja might not be back. Considering the fact that Indian women's cricket team, anybody gets injured, somehow gets injured and stays injured. It's very difficult to understand. That may be a case study that we will do sometime later. But if you think from that point of view, Renuka, Titash, and Pooja. Pooja most likely isn't coming back. Your main pacer will be Renuka and one of Arundhati Kashvi, where you are
Kashmir.
expecting Kashvi, you're expecting Kashvi to do better.
Yes.
Um, and
And you're
since
like
it
to
was a
like
swing,
replacement of Pooja. Kashmir, you like to like
exactly, Kashvi is
replacement
a
of.
like-to-like replacement of Pooja, and for the third place, it will be a fight between Titash and Arundhati. And because the World Cup is in subcontinent, I
India.
think Arundhati wins there.
Mm.
Shikha, no, I don't see. I think Shikha is completely out of, had this, again, Naman, had this not been a World Cup year, I would have said, कि हाँ, ठीक
Mm.
है, bowler नहीं है, Shikha will can come in and just play for this series. बट अभी तो यही सीरीज है वर्ल्ड कप से पहले ना, उसके उसके बाद क्या ही सीरीज है? इंग्लैंड सीरीज, आई एम रिपीटिंग ओवर एंड ओवर अगेन, इंग्लैंड सीरीज इज नॉट योर वर्ल्ड कप सीरीज. इट्स ठीक है, अभी जा रहे हैं हम इंग्लैंड में खेल रहे हैं, probably we are ticking the series off. Ideally a Bangladesh series would be nice. I you know, or inviting maybe a Australia, England to India
Mhm.
to play would have been nice. I'm sure BCCI was trying logistics, something did not work out. But as such, you have this one series where you have to look forward to. That is where I think in the pace department they've done the right thing. क्योंकि
Yes.
सब कॉन्टिनेंट में भाई तीन तीन स्पिनर्स खेलेंगे ना, तो पेसर पे उतना
Mhm.
कंसंट्रेशन भी नहीं रहेगा. एंड यू सी द पिचेस दैट यू विल बी प्लेइंग, मुल्लनपुर, you want all your spinners there.
Yes.
तो ये
KKR
सारे
showed the
चक्कर है.
way. You need spinners there. Yes.
युजवेंद्र चहल, वहां पे युजवेंद्र
Uh,
चहल, we don't have a leg spinner.
Okay, okay. Next comment, Ramavantu. Snehashish, kudos to you for interviewing my one of the favorite players, Ulvat, so well. Even Snehana's interview was awesome. Kudos to you guys for supporting women's cricket. Thank you so much for the comment. Me and Trishadi always try to, to come up with such kind of
Can
a
I at one point to that also? We don't
yes,
support women's cricket, we live that.
yeah,
There's a
yeah.
difference. We
We love
don't do this because we want to support them or we think it's a charity act or anything of that sort. No, we do it because we absolutely love the game.
yes, every day me and Trishadi, I almost spend at least 10 minutes of the day. Who can be the next player or someone that we can interview or some, get some interesting thoughts for you guys because absolutely we love to share that kind of, information with you and obviously that's a opportunity for both of us to know different kind of things. And as Trishadi mentioned, just before that Laura Ulbert interview last night, me and Trishadi spent 30 minutes just talking about how can we approach to her, because
Yes.
we both are top fan of her, when we're talking, that is why that thing happened at the start of the interview that we are kind of speechless. So it was so good to say, and hopefully more good interviews might be coming, but just keep supporting us. We'll try our best to come up with more good interviews. Okay, last 10 minutes then. No update, Naman. It's still raining, right?
It's still
Yeah, it's
raining.
raining heavily. I think it'll take longer than 30-40 minutes now.
Hmm. Okay, next any comment? Um,
Actually, the entire ground has been covered, you know.
Colombo is
hmm.
at this point in time, a stormy season comes in, and I don't think this
Yeah.
was the right time to have the tournament.
Very
I think the
that's
schedule is
one
quite
strong
busy.
point.
Busy schedule.
They could have played it in India in that case then.
They can't, na? You
Why?
have 10 teams with 10 cities blocked, na, Baba? How can you play?
Hmm.
Acha. IPL.
IPL, na?
Ouch.
IPL. Yeah.
I forgot IPL
If
which.
you have 10 cities blocked, and I think, you know what, it's humongous ask of BCCI
Yeah.
to have another tournament with IPL. देख एक
Hmm.
चीज है ना कि पैसे है, मतलब पैसे है का मतलब ये थोड़ी है कि पैसे
Logistical issues.
एक
कुछ भी कर
फेंकेंगे.
ले.
हाँ एग्जैक्टली, मतलब पैसे थोड़ी फेंकेंगे. लॉजिस्टिकल इशू
Logistical nightmare.
रखना पड़ेगा. एंड मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंटली व्हाट पीपल डू नॉट अंडरस्टैंड इज if there is an Indian women's series here, then there are
Hmm.
people who have to take care of that, how things will work, how this will happen and that. तो वो लोग भी तो कितना करेंगे भाई.
वही है. Okay, Ramabandu
Bangladesh
commenting.
is in the same situation, huh?
Hope my favorite player Pratika Rawal wins us this Tri Series and World Cup. I hope you guys interview her soon. Hopefully. We
And the
have
day we
already done
interview
Pratika
her, we
Rawal's
will
coach.
dedicate it to,
Yes,
we will
yes, we have
dedicate
already
it to
done
all the
Pratika Rawal's
interviewers.
childhood coach as an interview, but hopefully we will try our best to get an interview of her. But Pratika Rawal Trishadi, a very good player as you mentioned, but as you mentioned that it will be a huge test for her also, especially in England before that World Cup. Considering the confidence stuff.
Yeah, I mean, where did Shafali Verma lose her confidence? It was Catherine Brand bowling short
Mm.
balls to her and she did not know how to tackle it. That is what I'm saying when I say, because Lauren Filler has been in a good form, Lauren Bell has been in good form. So I think
Yes.
important part is to understand that It is not about how many runs she scored, because it's England
Hmm.
and the criteria for Pratika isn't different. So more than how many runs she scored, it is about her confidence, because she's right now on a complete high after the Ireland and West Indies series. I expect her to do well in Sri Lanka as well. But if in England she struggles, then that
Hmm.
puts in A, what that does is exposes her in front of the other teams, and B, what it does is suddenly when you're in form, everything is going perfectly fine for you. But when you're getting out to similar balls, you can't handle short balls, you're questioning yourself. That's like the worst side of things, and you don't want that to happen in the, I mean, in the World Cup year.
Yes. Okay. Prince of World commenting. Hello Trishadi and all. Hello. प्रियांशु सिंह ये बारिश कोलकाता से कोलंबो भी पहुंच गई.
आसपास है, आसपास, हम यहाँ से धक्का मार देते चला गया. No, by the way, guys, a little update. It is drizzling right now. Still, the covers are still there, but the intensity of rain has reduced.
Yes. Mm, mm, which don't really okay. Okay, so that's a slightly good update. So let's see when the match can start. Anything more? Can we expect something from Pratik Rawal? I think the Pratik Rawal comment is done. That and anything more, especially. Okay, there is something West Indies. Okay, Tushadi. Okay, this is the last comment that we are taking. Priyanshu commenting. Tushadi, West Indies के heartbreak पे क्या बोलोगे?
किसी के हार्ट पे क्या ही बोलूं मैं. It feels sad, especially for Hayley Matthews. I think she was outstanding throughout the tournament. And what I saw towards the end, Priyanshu, was actually way more heartbreaking. तो क्या हुआ कि Hayley Matthews was continuously telling Stephanie Taylor that you need to hit a
Paper.
boundary. You need to,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. She was saying that you need to hit a boundary. Stephanie Taylor did want to hit a boundary, but she had
it
hit
goes
it
for
so
six.
well. It went for six, and the
And the
other
law.
West Indies players were celebrating when Hayley Matthews sat down. And Stephanie Taylor must have thought that if boundary was done, then if I have
Hmm.
hit a six, I have done something good. But it turned out that they needed a boundary that ball, and then for the two remaining runs, if they hit a six, they would qualify because of the NRL. I think it's always tough. What is sad is they needed to chase that in 10 point some overs, and they actually did it. And even then, that was not enough. So I think sports teaches you a lot. Feel extremely bad for Hayley Matthews. I think the way she has performed, I mean, think of this, when you talk of Mumbai Indians' success, Hayley Matthews is one of the biggest reasons behind that. So you know that
Hmm.
player is 100%, 200% rather committed to any team that she's part of, and then that's her, that's her country's team. So I completely feel bad, but they have been outplayed. It's not like they lost
Hmm.
against Scotland, I think, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, yes.
So that game you should have won. West Indies versus Scotland. West Indies was the favorites. You did mess up. So while I'm heartbroken, I'm also seeing the practical side of things. That probably West Indies needs to move ahead of her. Stephanie Taylor, nothing against her. She's one of the best players that we have seen. But you need to build that team for the next World Cup and hope for the best. I
Absolutely.
just
And
don't think.
that is
Okay, sorry. Just one last thing. I don't
hmm,
think West Indies played good
to the
cricket throughout the
hmm.
tournament. They played good cricket in patches, which has come and come back to bite them.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what is Bangladesh did, they lost to Pakistan and West Indies, but defeated the teams like Scotland on a huge margin, and that helped them into getting that net run it. So that is a very smart move, I think, from Bangladesh. So and that obviously worked from them. Okay, so most of the comments are taken, and it is very good to be back for the women's cricket show and again crossing the 1 hour mark. Yeah. Okay, okay, so hopefully the match will start. We will hope for that, because ultimately this series is all about getting prepared for that important World Cup, and hopefully all the teams get to play at least their matches. You know, because the preparation is much needed ahead of that big event. So thank you, Tushari. Thank you, Naman. Hopefully, we'll come back with a post-match show where India might do well if the matches happen, and if not, still we'll come back with a shorter show, but we'll discuss something. Okay. Thank you for joining in, and please join us in the post-match also. And till then, let's just hope that the match will happen. Thank you.